Hi, welcome back to the Bazi series. Now today I'm going to share again the Bazi on career, right? Because in my previous videos I promised to give you an example. So today I'm going to kill two birds with one stone. So the first bird is that I would like to address the common question that people are always having this asking me about why Bazi is so difficult to learn, right? Because over 20 years I've been in this watching the industry. Bazi is very popular among people, but yet many people until today is still not able to read Bazi. So the question is why, right? So I'm going to address this shortly. And of course, the second bird that I'm going to kill today is to show you an example how you can use Bazi to find out your career, okay, your suitable career based on your Bazi. Okay, now in Bazi studies there are many schools. First I have to tell you this, okay, because Bazi is just like a big umbrella, one big word, Bazi. But under this umbrella there are many schools of Bazi. Of course, all these schools of Bazi, they share the common things, like for example the 10 stems, the 12 branches, you know, the clashes, the combinations and all those things. So they all share the same thing. But when it comes to application, every school is different. So therefore, it becomes like there are many streams of Bazi schools. So all of them are different in terms of application. And today also I can demonstrate to you some of the common ways of how different schools interpret, for example, Bazi given. So to do that, let me use this Bazi. Okay, so now this video is basically for those who have some idea or basics about Bazi. But those of you who are watching now and have zero Bazi knowledge, maybe you might find it a little bit difficult to follow technically. But don't worry about it. Just leave the technicalities aside. You can catch up on it once you have acquired the knowledge and skill. So for now, you just follow the logic, how the logic flows. Okay, now, so let me share with you. So this is the Bazi of a male. Okay, it's a male. He's a Wu Day Master. Okay, now Wu Day Master is born in spring, peak of spring. So when you're born in spring, definitely the most prosperous element is definitely the wood element, right? And on top of that, if you look at these three elements together, Yin, Mao, and Chen, they form the three, in Chinese we call the Samwui, right? It's like the rendezvous point for wood. Okay, so this together, three of them together, they form a very strong wood element again. So based on the first two factors, the season and of course this triple combination here, the wood element in this Bazi is exceptionally strong. Okay, so based on this, there are two broad concepts. Okay, so let me share with you. Okay, so let's say the New Age system and the traditional system. Okay, so nature's way is with the traditional system. Okay, we are not with the New Age. So what is the concept behind the New Age system? The concept behind New Age system is very much centered on the organizational behavioral science. So in organizational behavioral science or psychology basically, the underlying is that they always focus on your key strength, your dominant strength. They do not focus on your weaknesses. So they will ask athletes or executives to perform accordingly to their strength. And that's why they come up with these so-called profiling models, you know, especially when you go to big companies and they're hiring for the C levels, the CEO, CFOs, you know, the key decision makers. They always hire, usually they would like to hire consultants. So the consultant will give some interviews, maybe long list of questions for the candidate to answer. right? So from the answer, from the feedback, they will do a sort of profiling. So they profile this candidate and say that, okay, this candidate belongs to personality A, type B, type C, you know, things like that. So from there, they will ascertain whether this employee or this potential employee is suitable for the job on hand, right? So that is called the profiling method. And the New Age system is very much centered on this profiling system. So for example, if you see a dominant element is wood, right? So the wood is the dominant element. Therefore, they will say that the strength of this person will be centered around this wood element. So the wood element can be divided into two portions. One is by element itself, right? Okay, element itself. The other one is by the 10 gods. 10 gods we call subsan. In Chinese we call subsan. So this is one subject inside Paji. So when you talk about wood elements, so they classify you by the industry of wood. For example, wood industry is like carpentry work, agricultural work, nursery, forestry, right? Wood carving, things like that, right? So even in healing, like for example, clinics, spas, or these are sometimes they fall under the wood element. So this is how the New Age, they started using the wood element. And this has been around like for maybe what, 50 years easily, yeah? Even in China, they have been using this for a long time. China, Taiwan, Hong Kong, they've been using this for a long time, okay? And then of course, if they also can say that based on the 10 gods, okay, so what is the 10 gods? So wood element controls earth. So the element that controls the day master is known as the officer, right? The kun. So when you talk about officer from that point of view, so we call it officer. Officer is like what? Like law enforcement, police, lawyer, law firm, judges. You can talk about even in martial arts, you know, martial arts, stuntmen. So these are all falls under the officer. To the negative aspect of it is the drug lord, right? Drug dealer, the big gangster. So this also falls under the officer profile. So they will usually base on either the element, industry, or the 10 gods officer to provide the answer to the party as to what type of profession is suitable for this particular person. Now, in the traditional sense, it is very different, because in traditional sense we focus more on what we call useful god. Right? In Chinese we call Yongsan. Why Yongsan? Yongsan is basically is trying to say this. The concept is that what is good to you, you use it. What is no good to you, you discard it. So you pick what is useful to you. That is why the word called useful god, Yongsan. So this is the traditional part. And determining Yongsan is one of the hardest way of in Baji, because this one require knowledge and skills, right? So to cut things short, I'm just there are a few Yongsan for this person. So the one obvious one in this Baji is this element, Ting Fire. Okay, Ting Fire. Okay, so Ting Fire represents what? Fire element. If you think about it, what does fire element? Fire element represents energy, good energy, flaming energy, right? Energy that people can see, because you can see the fire, you can feel the fire, right? So people like to feel you, like to see you, and you are a fire, you illuminate, so you give people a sort of relaxation, motivation, maybe you know, follow a guiding path for people to move. That's typically the fire element. And the other not the useful god, but the favorable god rather, is this earth element. So this earth element is favorable, and earth element, because they are earth element, same, so they call it the keep choi, the rock wealth, rock wealth keep choi. So keep is rob, choi is wealth, okay, or money, okay, rob money or rob wealth, whatever. So the point is that these are also favorable. Now, if you look at these two, the fire and the earth are favorable elements. So therefore, earth element as the same element as the day master represents people around you, maybe your friends, maybe your supporters and things like that. So when it's favorable to you means you easily connect with people. People would like to support you. People like you, basically, right? So that is the idea behind the element here. Now, because fire produces the day master earth, right? So in the 10 gods point of view, this is known as the stem. Okay, stem in Chinese they call yan. So when you have a stem that is your useful god, it usually represents that in our school, in the nature's way of Pachi, is your natural talent. That means something, a talent that you were given, a gifted talent, that you had it when you were born. So everybody could be different, right? A different individual will have different talent. So the person will definitely know what talent he has. And this talent is definitely can be seen. It doesn't need to be tested or go through some profiling, or you have to try different things in order to find out which is actually your talent. No, in this party, definitely the talent is obvious. Okay, so this is how the two systems different. You see, very different, right? One is wood, the other is fire, and a little bit of earth. So you can see that they are very different system of looking. So if you ask two persons, they will give you two different answers, right? Two different answers will point. One will point you to the right, one will point you to the left. So it's like when you go on the street and you're looking for a place, and then you ask a bystander, hey, do you know where is this place? So if you meet the right guy with the right knowledge, he'll tell you that you just turn this way and you get to the point in a short while. If you meet a guy who doesn't know anything but refuse to admit that he doesn't know, he'll tell you it's that way. So you spend 1 hour walking around, you couldn't find the place, it's so hot, you spend money, you spend time, and yet you still cannot find the place. But of course, maybe eventually you meet another guy, you come back to the original why. But you wasted 1 hour of your effort, of your life, going in the wrong direction. So you can see Pachi may be the same, but the application is very different, right? Now, okay, so let me review this person. Okay, this person the name is Nat King Cole. I don't know how many of you know who is Nat King Cole. Nat King Cole is an American singer, right? He is a very, I would say, quite an accomplished singer, right? Maybe not as much as Elvis Presley, but still in his own way, he is considered accomplished. So when you see a person has a useful god in the party, somehow along the way, this person will have certain achievement in life. Okay, this is a little bit gifted at birth, right? Because if you know that voice is something gifted, you can train your voice, but you can never be as natural as the person who's born with it, right? This is the fact of life. Okay, now, so he's a singer, so therefore he's in the entertainment industry. He brings joy to people, right? Typically, that's what fire do, joy. That's why he's in the entertainment industry. He has a good fan base because he has a base supporter to support him. People like the way he sings, right? And things like that. So this is the way how you look and how you look at the party, right? Now, if Nat King Cole would have gotten wood, he would have gone into a different industry. He would have been a carpenter by now, probably, or maybe he would try very hard to be a lawyer. So it's like this, in the new age system, it's like they will always make you feel that you're a chicken, but you can fly like an eagle. So they are not too much into whether this element is favorable or unfavorable to you. Basically, they say this is your dominant element, you go with it, you go with the flow, right? If you don't like it, they will say you need to embrace it. And that's when they will start to motivate you to embrace the element that you don't even like. So why you don't like the element? Simple. Because in traditional view, if this is not your positive element, favorable element, naturally it's not good for you. That is why you don't like it. And because of that, you have this favorable element, you follow your favorable element. That's why it's called useful to you. That is the reason why it's termed useful God, 用善, right? Something you can use. That's why the traditional view and the New Age system are very different approach. They are still party, but the way it's being presented, the application is very different. And it is important. Why it is important? It is like what I just said. If you go down the street, you hope to meet the guy with the right answer so that he will point you to the right direction, and therefore you can reach your destination quick, faster, less energy, and the shortest path to it. If you meet the guy who give you wrong advice, your life will go merry-go-round. So as to the question coming back, why party is difficult to learn? Well, I can tell you all Chinese metaphysics art, nothing is easy. But at least if you have the right knowledge, things are a lot easier. Things are achievable. So it's like saying, you know, if you can't read party or you find party very difficult despite all the years of training, learning, attending so many courses, looking through so many charts, and it's been a very frustrating journey, maybe you need to think about it. Maybe it is not party that is difficult. Maybe all the while you've been looking in the wrong direction, right? The answer is here, the treasure is here, and all the while you've been looking there. So naturally you will not find the treasure, right? Because you have been looking in the wrong direction. So maybe this is the thing that I think party enthusiasts or party students need to maybe give it a think, give it a thought, huh? That maybe all the while you have been looking in the wrong direction, the wrong system, right? So so I hope you learn something from this party, and I hope to open your perspective as to the various ways of reading party. The same party, different system, different answer, different outcome. Okay, so that's all my sharing for today. Hope you like it. And if you find your friends who are enthusiastic in party as well, do share with them. Thank you.